up a little bit. I don't deal with silly shit, I am not illiterate. Gun clapper, street rapper, this is what you dealing with. Boom bap, true rap, only the real feeling it. Truth, I'm revealing it. Beef, I ain't dealing with. Others put their bread to the beef and make a meal of it. I'm the quiet type, banana clip, I'm concealing it. Get up on you with the banana and start peeling it. Hit the Captain in America, no time for shielding it. They crew got nicked with the fury, I'm real with it. Flow so sick, I should be healing it. But instead I'm on the German Autobahn, wheeling it. You heard these millionaires, now here a skillionaire. Rich with the skill in the club, people I thrill them there. Yeah, savagery, hand them out, no silverware. True legend, no jewels, black gorilla wear. Yeah, where them skills at? I'm a drill at. Too many rappers claiming OG and still whack. They sleeping, and you can see how they act. Red pill, blue pill, I gave the red pill back. So I hear what they mumble about me, but it don't penetrate. Young rappers wanna be large, think this whoever's great. Me, I'm a legend, been busting weapons since 88. Blast off the top of your dome, let it ventilate. Skills I will demonstrate, lyrical rap heavyweight. You ain't never heard of this teacher, you bitches hella late. You better wait, KRS is never fake. That whack shit to sell out the culture, I'll never make. That boom bap, raw speak, I will generate. I stay ahead, like you 8 o'clock, I'm 10 to 8. I got ends to make with the bass kicking. These rap turkeys are fishing for beef for stage chicken. My rhyme style finger licking, keep mixing, no quitting. No need for a vacation, you tripping. Clock ticking, I'ma spit this right, like handcuffs. You gotta say this shit is tight. I'm about to begin. You've been living without, but try living within. You heard these others speak, but I am not them. They talk paper, but here's what I do with the pen. Sword in the air, I don't fear anybody. We was criminal minded when they was on the party. Been spiritual minded, the devil can't stop me. Been political minded, nope, they can't lock me. This is an original, not a copy. Me and the mic, we go together like saltfish with Aki. Mash up any jam, any club, any party. Same shoes, same views, black tea, hair, Nazi. You could be stoned and you still can't rock me. You could be wood and you still can't knock me. Prophecy fulfilled and they still wanna mock me. Behold, it's obvious the universe got me. Skill, that's my credential. When my words get sent to your mental, they turn sentimental. No, I will not be gentle. Most rappers are followers, the only thing they led was a pencil. Money won't defend you when I A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, and N, U. I'm that raw shit, hip-hop core 4 shit. That DJ and MC and tagging, breaking on the floor shit. Street lyric, you heard it, I never lost it. Like y'all seen Bay, I'm bringing you more shit. Double metaphors, this how the tour get. Effortless, I flow like a shower, no need to force it. You saw it, real skill, you the witness or the listener. I stand behind my balls like a prisoner. Yeah, I'ma spit this right. And like them handcuffs, you gotta say this shit is tight. Ashe to the ancestors. Ashe. Let them drums rip.
Peace and much love, everyone. Welcome to the Temple of Hip Hop. I am Minister Sun One. I'm having several major technical difficulties right now trying to make this work. And the best way that I know to be able to share with you all what we have intended for today's gathering, I have to try something live. Hopefully this works. Hopefully you guys can hear what I'm going to share. If not, it's gonna, or I may take a break for a minute, organize myself, and figure it out. But thank you for the 25 or 23 now that have joined us, and hopefully what I am attempting to do is going to work. Otherwise, we have to do something else. Okay, let me see. I'll bring you right into the studio. It's really what we're doing. Now, I know you can see it, but the question is, can you hear it?
I took a picture of God. I took a picture. I took a picture.
Peace so much love. Of course, this is Sun One. I'm doing this because I haven't done this before, and really, I should have been doing it my entire journey. But either way, let's catch up. It's 2021. COVID. Make a quick start.
All right.
So we're figuring this out.
Take a trip home for Father's Day.
See what it is.
Real quick, so we grab some stuff. All right. And all of that was wrong.
Okay. So apparently what's happening is the fathers are getting shafted. Oh man. Oh no, this is what it is. apparently I have to leave this video open here. So I'll just do that in order for you guys to hear what it is. I don't want to waste anyone's time today, and obviously we will get this up in its more professional state. But for those who want to rock out, and mind you, or you'll understand the sacrifice I'm making right now in order to still do this. But either way, we're gonna try to see what it is. So I'm gonna play it like this. The audio is literally going to be coming from the same source, so it's not gonna sound the greatest, but this is what it is. Okay.
I took a picture of God. I took a picture. Peace and much love. Of course, this is Son One. I'm doing this because I haven't done this before, and really, I should have been doing it my entire journey. But either way, let's catch up. It's 2021. COVID season seems to be slowing down now that the vaccines and everything have rolled out. And we are finally back to our first show. Of course, those who keep up with the TEACHA KRS-ONE and the Temple of Hip Hop, they're aware. We did the last show at Sony Music Hall in New York and at the Howard Theater in Washington, D.C. You have to excuse me right now. I am quite exhausted. I essentially drove through the entire night in order to get here. Also after waking up at around 6 a.m. yesterday morning. I ended up making a very poor decisions, or not a very, I would say several poor decisions in my time management. I should have left then, but instead, no. I figured I'd make some money around the city of Atlanta, getting my Uber Lyft gang on. And that was a big mistake. There were so many accidents, so much traffic. It was ridiculous. And not to mention, before I left, I wanted to clean up the place where I'm staying. Plus, then I wanted to make a quick stop by the storage because I'm going to take a trip home for Father's Day real quick, so grab some stuff. And all of that was wrong. I shouldn't have done any of that. Or I should have done it the day before or something like that. I definitely shouldn't have taken the rides during the day. Very sad last night too. Ended up rolling by a car, crazy. The guy was definitely no longer with us. He was through the windshield, hanging out, and the cops were just having people go right by it, no sheet on them or nothing, just craziness. And then I saw another car wrapped around a pole, a little bit farther in DC too. So just to say, be careful when you guys are driving. Stop being in such a rush. Minimize the cutting people off and the thinking so much that where you have to be or where you want to be is that important, because it's definitely not worth your life. But so either way, I'm here. It's around 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning now. So I'm on 24 hours. I'm debating taking a nap, but I can't take a nap that I might not wake up from. So that might not be the best idea. But yet still, I also have to be very much on point DJing today for our TEACHA KRS-ONE on Juneteenth for this grand celebration. Nobody cares about how much sleep I got. I mean, I'm sure TEACHA cares, and his wife, Minister Simone, cares, but the show must go on. So I gotta make it happen. And again, there is no room for messing up. I mean, obviously mistakes happen, but nah, you gotta be on point. And especially this is the first show. This is the first show. That's why it's like I was bugging yesterday. I don't know. I don't know. Or I just never I never saw anything like that. I mean, Atlanta has accidents every day. But that was insane. It just really held me back. And then, right, so I was supposed to get here earlier, but that accident. And I thank God, though, obviously, that I wasn't involved. So my timing like that must have been right. And we always look at that too, that now you arrive at exactly the right time, and reality is making itself happen and causing certain circumstances, whether you have to use the restroom, whether you get thirsty all of a sudden or want a snack, all of that adds into what it really is. I do need to get some food, though. I didn't eat either. No eats. Right. Oh, and then I didn't have an outfit with me. So my grand plan was to stop and pick up the fresh outfit for today. And it's so funny because I actually did get my interpretation of the correct outfit. I rolled into this outlet mall on the way up, and I happened to, my whole plan was to hit the Nike outlet, possibly Burlington Coat Factory, and the Levi's, get some jeans. As soon as I come in, and where I park, I see this store that has a whole bunch of positive messages on their shirts. I'm like, what is this? I was like, hold on, let me slide in here and see if there's something that I like in here. And of course, we have a passage in the Gospel of Hip Hop, which states, and I actually want to say it's in there twice, that we wear the handmade clothing of God. And it seemed like this is exactly what this was. I got a shirt called Godfidence. As a matter of fact, the place is called Positive Gear, I believe, is the brand. I mean, even look at the bag. It says thank you 50 million times on it. Classy, very classy. But this right here, come on now. Come on, you know it was real. So I had to do it. Also possibly talk to him about seeing what it is and what it can do. So hopefully something comes out of that. If not, he just got his free plug right there from your boy. Positive Gear. But so, needless to say, I'm here now. And these people today are going to get rocked, as they always do. I believe TEACHA has a lecture at around like 11, which I don't want to miss as well. So I got to be there for that too. Don't stop. I'm in here. I'm charging up the camera real quick. So hopefully we get a professional recording going off. And this is what it is. Another day in the life of hip hop. And we got the temple call tomorrow. Our weekly study going down, change the time to 12 in the afternoon. Hip hop doesn't stop. And there's no want to stop. We're going to keep it moving. As you can see, I'm tired. But I'm not going to let it show whatsoever. I'm going to get me something to eat, get some energy, and you'll see what it is. I took a picture of God. I took a picture of him. I took a picture of God. I know I took a picture of him. I took a picture of God. I took a picture of God. I took a picture. I took a picture. I took a picture of him. I took a picture. I took a picture. I took a picture of God. A picture. I took a picture. You know, I took a picture of him. I took a picture. I took a picture. I took a picture of God.
See, now, this is something you don't see very often from so many artists, that our teacher really never refuses a photo, an autograph.
I took a picture of God.
Literally spends a lot of time to do this. And make people's day better. So indeed, happy Father's Day, Teacher KRS-ONE from the Couple of Hip Hop.
I might be going in too grimy with you right now. I want you to leave with the spirit of real hip-hop, because the spirit of real hip-hop is the spirit of Juneteenth. That commercial fakeness you hear every day, that don't represent our people not one bit. Let me say that right here, right now, with all these government buildings around, banks, all this. Hip-hop is not a criminal culture. This is God's culture.
That's right.
And we've proven it from 1973 to right now. You know? All right! Let me remind them. Give me the reminder. Oh!
Really remind me?
Yeah.
I'm trying
Don't
to
do that like
who it
that.
is, who you got right now, but okay, let's go.
Classic session. This is healing music. Healing music. Pull it up again. Pull it up again and hit them again. Healing music. Original hip hop. Roll up. Sit back, relax, and reacquaint yourself. Get back to the original, primitive, savage, naked self. Brace yourself, recreate yourself, make yourself. For too long you've been taught to hate yourself. Man, don't forsake yourself, recreate yourself. Take yourself much higher. History's not your story. The devil is a liar. Listen to nothing the outside world says about you. The world is meant to distract you, reroute you, to doubt you. Most of these rappers about the world. KRS is about you. So remember what I taught you. How to in and out you. Go inside your inner city. Quickly going in you. Have an interview with the energy that's within you. Ask yourself, why you? Why now? Why here? Then it becomes quite clear. You are divine. You should not fear. Bills, you should not fear. Drills, you should not stare. Focus your attention on G-O-D. It's right here. Original. One more. No one's ever gonna tell you you are divine, because they ain't reached that line. And all this time they still are blind. They tell you follow them, read a book, get in line. Then that's baby milk. Here's the raw meat. It's cooking time. It's the way in which you look at brain and look at mind. You think it ain't the same, but if you look again, you'll find. The whole design of nature is from a gifted mind, a divine mind, outside what we call space and time. This divine mind creates butterflies and caterpillars. This divine mind makes livers and everything that quivers. Brains don't make brains. Divine mind does. Life is a game with its own mind, its own aim, and its own name. It's simple and plain. Divine mind produces your brain. You are divine mind first, then you produce your brain. Divine intelligence or God, that's from which you came. You are divine. You are divine. You are divine. You are a divine being. This is what we had to know to create hip hop. The South Bronx was crazy back in the 70s. Y'all know Vietnam War, our men coming home heroin addicted, cops still shooting us in the street. This hip hop had to face. But here's the secret. We was walking around neighborhoods, torn down buildings. You remember Melly Mel? Broken glass everywhere. People pissing on the station like they just, I can't. Y'all forgot that? Melly Mel described the environment that we were living in. But guess what? We didn't look at the environment and say, man, this is a corrupt environment. This is no job, no housing, no education. This is a messed up environment. Oh no, we knew that already. What we did was we did not change the environment. We changed how we looked at the environment. Only a few gonna hear this right now, but I'm gonna say it anyway. The environment did not change one bit. It was our perception of the environment that changed. The South Bronx was a corrupt place, so we made a song about it. The buildings were broken down and torn up, so we put our names on the side of it. To us, the trains were disgusting before we hit them. The environment never changes, it's you. Take a look at your city. You want it to change? It's not about, I gotta change myself. No. It's about see your city in a different way. The corruption's still gonna be there. The injustice is still gonna be there. I love the Bronx, but the corruption is still there. Ain't nothing changed. But guess what did change? We did. And we began to see ourselves new. Now I'm telling you this, I'm taking this time. Don't let me go over my time. Because it's important that you understand Juneteenth and its deep cultural significance. You see, they abolished slavery, but they never abolished the slave. I'm going to say this again. Slavery may be abolished. Thank you. Slavery may be abolished, but no one ever abolished the slave. The slave is a mentality, because no human being is a slave. A slave is a designation. No human being is a slave. At least you can say African, if you're going to apply it to us. If you don't want to say human being, you can say African. But my ancestors were slaves. That means you a slave now. When slavery was abolished in Nazi Germany, the Jews were no longer called slaves. When the Trail of Tears, Native Americans, when many of the treaties were rewritten and America apologized, the Native Americans got their sovereignty. African Americans, we sitting here waiting on this corrupt system to help us with anything. They can't find nothing to help us with. Nothing. So we gotta start to rethink the situation. Slavery may be abolished, but when you leave here today on Juneteenth, ask yourself, am I still a slave though? Just because they say slavery is abolished, don't mean slavery is abolished in your mind. You see, and I'm talking across the board. Government officials are slaves. How do you become a slave? First, you have no heritage, no lineage, no tradition, no family. The first way that the slaveable person begins as a person with no family. Now the system grabs you because there's no family. Let Juneteenth be also a celebration of the black family. Because we're talking independence. Independence, that's a white man trick. Nothing about Africa is independent. We are a collective, a family. Individualism is what got us in this boat we in now. You see your brother go into prison and you won't say nothing. You know he's innocent. You know they setting him up right now. You got the power to help him, but to save your job, you won't keep your mouth shut. Your job destroying so many lives, but when somebody tell you about it, you say, I'm just doing my job, man. These are slaves. And you have to ask yourself, am I a slave? This is Juneteenth. Remember, slavery was supposed to be already abolished with the Emancipation Proclamation. It was supposed to be abolished then. Imagine, Abraham Lincoln says, I'm going to declare my enemies slaves free. We won't get into that. But I'm going to go ahead and declare all of these Africans free. Nobody knew it for 2 years. Hold on. Before we start celebrating, 2 years you didn't know you was free. So how you know what's going on right now? Don't you have to wait 2 years from now to realize you're still a slave? Juneteenth is telling you how the government do you. They're 10 years ahead of you. In this instance, they're 2 years ahead. They already freed you. They already freed you. And many of us knew it. Before they freed us, we knew we were free. Nat Turner knew he was free. Old Harriet knew she was free. Before all that emancipation, do you know that you're free? That's the question with June 19th. No white man can tell you you're free. Anybody giving you freedom can take it over. I feel like I'm preaching to the choir. Here's freedom. Here's an idea of freedom. First, African Americans, we are a sovereign nation. Don't get it twisted. We need a constitution, an African American constitution. When we have our own laws, when we have our own laws, and we governing our own people, then right after that, we develop our army, our police force, which is connected to our courts. The question is, why is white people the monopoly on all law? Why does the white society have a monopoly on law and order? It's because everybody else is disorganized. We got so much money in our community and we can't build one prison to lock them up. This is the real issue. We are a nation and we need to start acting like one. We're begging our enemy to help us. A clear and present danger. We're asking that to help us. The bridge is over. That bridge is over. So, that's the end of my commercial break. If I can impress one thing on you, Juneteenth, make sure slavery is abolished in your mind. Don't let no holiday come by and you say, yeah, we're going to cut the turkey because it's this day. Every day is Juneteenth. Or should I say every month? March 10th, January 10th, February 10th, April 10th. Freedom never stops. Love your family. Love your family. Loving your family don't mean hugging them either. It means forgiving them for the bullshit they did to you. Oh yeah, come on, let's talk real quick. Real quick. Because this is what's holding our families back. We got too much argument amongst ourselves. Sons don't like mothers. Mothers don't like sons. Daughters against mothers and fathers. You know, come on. Loving your family means forgetting all that. And that's hard to do. Because some of you mothers are crazy. Joe, you know the real. I love my mother, but she's crazy. But it's my mother. You only get one. Forgive your parents if you can. If you can find the strength. Forgive your parents. Forgive them for the light, the little bit of light they may have had. The struggle that they went through just to bring you up. That deserves your respect no matter what they did to you. They gave you life. And how you use that life is up to you, so they gave you freedom. Love your parents. If we break that generation bridge, break it. This is how we arrived at slavery. It started in Africa. These crazy ass Africans sold us out. 1440, do your history. The Portuguese coming on the west coast of Africa. We selling our own people to the white, to the European. We selling our own people. It started with our women and children. We're prostituting women and children in 1300 AD Africa. The Portuguese come in and take advantage of our immorality. Now the slave trade begins. Now it begins, and when it starts flourishing, then the English, then the French, then the Spanish, then the German got involved. But how did it start? The breakup of family. Young people not wanting to respect their traditions. You see them today, walking around with no respect for your ancestors. No respect for your heritage, for your traditions, for what your parents died for. We selling crack on Dr. Martin Luther King Boulevard. Come on now, I come from New York. You don't want to walk down Malcolm X Boulevard. Well, now you do. Sometimes. Yeah. My point, young people, you are valueless without a tradition. You have no protection without heritage. When you can claim 100 years, even the courts respect that. It's called precedence. When you got somebody that can vouch for you. Say, yeah, that brother right there is good. That's a character reference. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. These are the things that strengthen you. A wise elder in your house. A wise old elder in your house. Crazy, but wise. Don't read no book. Watch PBS to tell you what happened in the 60s and 50s, and your parents are walking around right now. Don't let PBS tell you your future by distorting your past. Your parents are right there. The bridge is over. Wait, my man itchy right here. But I got you. But I got you. So please be aware, slavery is a mental condition. Nobody can call you a slave unless you are. And you agree. Love your family. Parents. Forgive your children. Children. Forgive your parents. Family. Come together. This is the beginning of the solutions we're looking for from government. Black people unite. Hit them. Turn it up. 5 minutes. I got 5 minutes. I only got 5 minutes. Get me in my 5 minutes. Yo, I'm still number one. People still take me rapping for a joke, a passing hope, or a phase with the rope. Sometimes I choke and try to believe when I get challenged like a million MC. I try to tell them we all this together. I'm in the room, we can go with whatever. This like content, do what I do. I sold the show, then I leave without a clue. One of your things mixed up the KRS. Cause I'm confusion, pretty fair speaking, Christian in faith. I'm a really rebel, renegade, unstable. Not my financial aid, but a way on hands. For me to take long trips, I see the original teacher, but this ain't the stop. Rock it all week when it's not what's first, what's jump. Someone I love to, BDP, party, yo, I love to. Set, and say, I'm not because anybody can. Oh, look, knock off turntables, grab the mic. But here's where the problem starts. Because of that, rap is still an art, and no one's from the wow. I say no one's from the old school because rap on a whole. 50 years down the line, you can start this. Because and even in this time, a brand new style. Running around, spending money, having fun. Because today, we still number one. Hit him with it, women time. Before I go, I want to say Happy Father's Day, first of all the fathers, real fathers are here right now, you know that. This was on a real dad's mind right here. Juneteenth, word up. Big up to all the fathers. Shout out also, remember it's the summer solstice as well, y'all. What is it? June 21st and 22nd is the summer solstice. The sun will be at the highest point in the heavens. We should really look at that symbolically. Right around Juneteenth, the sun at the highest point in the heavens. Don't let these days go by. Do some fasting, some prayer, some meditation. Pour something out for the ancestors over this time. It's very important. They're looking out for us. Hit them. Oh, I'm done?
Hold on, let me say something real quick, T. Hold on. I just want everybody to make sure that when you see a stranger that looks like you, let's bring back saying peace to one another, okay? You ain't got to say I love you.
Real.
You ain't got to say that. You don't have to engage, but say peace to each other. Stop the mean mug.
Word.
And learn how to say I'm sorry.
Well, to the Temple of Hip Hop. I am the Acronologist, G. Simone. The Temple of Hip Hop is a hip hop preservation ministry, archive, school, and society. Our purpose is to preserve hip hop. And how do we preserve hip hop? By preserving the hip hopper. We come to you each Sunday with life lessons, things that can help you develop yourself, develop your family, and just make life better. So I thank you for being here again. I'm going to read some notes off my phone before we bring the TEACHA and Son 1 out today. So we want to celebrate Juneteenth, which, as my shirt says Juneteenth, you can see it there. Yes, yesterday was Juneteenth, and we were in Wilmington, Delaware. We did a great show, as you probably saw some of the clips before I came on today. And that was just a wonderful setting. So many people were out there celebrating with their families and just learning knowledge, and the teacher laid it down. So you've seen some of that, and you may see some more as this session continues. Also, today is Father's Day. So we like to shout out all the fathers and say Happy Father's Day. And just, we'd like to send a message to the dads, spend time with your children. You'll miss moments if you're away. So try to spend time with them, try to talk with them, try to be with them, try to encourage them to do more with their lives. Whether you have sons or daughters, it's important that you spend time with your children. Fathers, you matter. So know that you guys really matter. So be in your children's life. Also, it is the summer solstice, which is happening now. So, we've been waiting for this because we were fasting and we were getting involved with the winter solstice over the winter months in December. And now we're at the summer solstice in June, where the sun is at its highest peak. So take in the sun and take in the vibration and take in the frequencies and, just develop and grow yourself every day and learn as much as you can. So Juneteenth, Father's Day, and summer solstice. We have a lot to bring you today, so look forward to the TEACHA and Son 1 a little later on. Thank you for being here. Peace.
Yes, indeed. It is KRS-ONE. G. Simone was just here explaining the Temple of Hip Hop and what we're really all about, what's going down. Simone just explained that we're dealing with not only the fact that we are in Wilmington, Delaware right now, and doing broadcasting from there right now. We did a concert yesterday, and even more than even a concert was the event itself, Juneteenth. Now it's a federal holiday, the 11th federal holiday as well. And, some of the message we had out there, I'll share with you today. Now, before I get into this is a special kind of Temple of Hip Hop call and reading today, because not only are we starting at 12 noon today so that the rest of the world can get a piece of this, but also we're not reading from the Gospel of Hip Hop today. This is going to be a shorter session. Today we're going to just talk about the significance of Juneteenth. And next week, when I'm more stable back home in Atlanta and so on, we'll continue our reading, because the next week's reading as well is a little intense. We get into a deep teaching about hip hop as culture, all of the elements and so on. All of that is in next week's reading there as well. Those that have the Gospel of Hip Hop, you've already seen this. You can go ahead, read a little bit, refresh yourself on what we have been studying, the 9 elements, this kind of thing, so on. But the next chapter deals with hip hop as culture and the existence of it. We're not talking about that right now. We're going to do that next week when we're a little more stable. Right now, we're going to talk about Juneteenth and some of the importance actually of that. So let's get right to work. Let me start with the fact that Juneteenth, all of the historical parts of it, you could go look up online. I'm not going to spend time here talking about the general that came 2 years later, that this was announced in Texas, and this kind of thing. Go do that research. Here's the message, though. The message is that most people equate slavery with the slave. That if you are in slavery, you are a slave. Or if you are a slave, it means you are in slavery. Now, Juneteenth is about the emancipation, the official day, I guess now that slavery is over, the official freedom announcement day event in that sense. But the real question is, slavery may be abolished, but the slave was never abolished. And neither was the slave owner. Now, most people believe that when you say slavery, you're talking about a slave or people who are enslaved. No, you're not. The definition of slavery, the actual definition of slavery, is hard work, toil, drudgery. That's what slavery means. Slavery does not mean forced to work. Slavery just means hard work, drudgery. This is the first definitions of slavery: hard work, drudgery, even oppressive and demeaning work, slavery. You could be paid and still be doing slavery, still be engaged in slavery. Any hard work that's stressing the body is slavery. That's the definition of it. Now, of course, we know when we say slavery, what we're really talking about is a person who is, well, this definition of a slave, a person divested of all rights, has no control over their own humanity, their own life. Someone else is in control of when they eat, what they do, how they think, where they can go, who they can associate with. So when we say slavery, we think that we're talking about individuals who are suffering from this form of oppression. Someone owned by another person, divested of all rights. But slavery and the slave, like I said before, are not the same things. The slave is someone who is divested of all rights, all human rights, all dignity, and is forced to work. Slave. But when you really look at slavery and the slave, there's another component to this. And the other component to this is things that you can't stop. That's the other component to it. And also the reason for fasting as well, to prove that you can stop. Whatever it is, I can stop. Addiction is a form of slavery. And of course, we can talk about the basic addictions, the common addictions we all deal with. But on Juneteenth, we have to really ask ourselves, are we addicted to slavery, hard work? You ain't gonna get nowhere without no hard work. We understand that. But let us be careful that we are not still slaves in our mind. Sure, slavery may be abolished, but is the slave abolished? And the answer is that for many people, the slave is not abolished, meaning that we still call ourselves slaves. We call our ancestors slaves. We don't call them Africans. We call them slaves. We don't call them human beings. We say Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves. And Abraham Lincoln freeing the slaves takes all humanity away. So even in 2021, we are still looking at our own ancestry as slaves, even though slavery has been abolished. See, when something is abolished, it's gone. You no longer are called that. That's not your history no more. You're not in bondage. The whole experience is gone. So if slavery was truly abolished in its oppressive state, slavery as American slavery, the enslavement of Africans, if this was truly abolished, then we would have back to us all that was taken because of slavery. Land, resources, our sovereignty, spices, gold, silver. This is what we would have back. But slavery's not over, and we all know it. And the concept of the slave is not over in our minds. We're still calling our ancestors, and everyone is, I say our ancestors because they are our direct ancestors, but the whole world is still calling African American ancestors slaves, including us. Even to go further, African Americans are calling the psychopath that's terrorizing Africans, we're calling them master. The slave owner, the psychopath, the criminal is who we are calling master. And our ancestors who are the victims of this psychopath, we're calling them slaves. We're not even giving them humanity to say an African or Mary or John, just slaves. So are we still slaves in our own minds? Slavery may be abolished, but is the slave abolished? Again, slavery may be abolished, but has the slave been abolished? And that's what we're investigating during this June 19th or Juneteenth celebration. How much of a slave are you? How free are you really, I should say? Not how much of a slave, but how free are you really? How do you see things? What do you think you're capable of? Do you still think, do you still feel the superiority of the white race over you? And no other race either. You don't have no discussion for Native American, no discussion for any Caribbean culture, no discussion for Latino and Asian cultures. We don't care about any of that. It's just white folk. We're still waiting for that approval. We're still waiting for them to change their ways and give us justice and hold stand up to the true creed of the Constitution. We're still waiting for only white folk to do this. We're not looking at Native Americans doing this. Native Americans should stand up and hold up the principles of the Constitution. I mean, that whole statement is stupid, but you got to understand what I'm actually saying here. That no other group of people, we're not interested in any other group of people in the country. And this is the attitude of a slave. I'm only looking at my master. If my master disapproves, then I feel away. If my master approves, then I feel away. I feel great. If master don't agree, I question myself. If master agrees, I confirm myself. Are you a slave? Do you think freely, independently on your own? You just think, you have a thought, and your thought is backed by evidence, and so you know something? Or is what you know based upon a white authority in particular? Even white folk need to be listening to what I'm saying right now. You're waiting for a white authority too. You're not waiting for a Native American authority. You're not waiting for a Mexican authority. You're not waiting for a Haitian authority. You're not waiting for, anything. You're waiting only for this group to approve you. That's the mentality of a slave. This is the addiction. Addicted to white colonial culture. All of us, white folk included. We say we want things to get better, and then we refer to white colonial racist culture. Like, I just referred to the U.S. Constitution to make a point. The U.S. Constitution, that's a white racist colonial document. And we want things to get better, but we're going to keep looking at the U.S. Constitution and say, we want to rise to the level of the Constitution. Well, that was written by white racists. And we want things to get better. We want to be spiritual people and see God, so we read the Bible with all due respect. Really? I mean, I understand the Bible as a great document of spiritual knowledge. I will give the Bible that. But when you're looking for God, isn't it not clear that God is nowhere but within yourself? Is that not clear? The person that's whipping, chaining, beating you cannot hand you your God. Is that not clear? But if you're a slave in your mentality, the one beating you, whipping you, chaining you can hand you your God, and you believe on that. And it's your belief that makes their God real. Your ancestors as gods are not real to you. Their ancestors as gods are real to you. This is the mentality of a slave. And Juneteenth brings this out. It's not so much about Independence Day for African Americans, because nobody who frees you, if anyone frees you, you're not really free. Because again, they can take that. If somebody's giving you freedom, they can take it away. We know this. So giving us for Emancipation Proclamation, all this, no, that ain't freedom. You got to know you free in your heart, unto yourself. You got to know you free. So June 19th brings us to this place where we say, you mean to tell me that Abraham Lincoln freed Africans in the South 2 years before we even knew we were free, or these group of Africans knew that they were? Juneteenth is when Africans realized that they were free. They were already free for 2 years, but Juneteenth was the day we all realized that we were free. And I guess Northern Africans were included in this celebration as well. So look at the symbolism of this. We are already free, but we didn't know it. An announcement came out 2 years later in Texas, and then the word spread, and this is how it happened. You know this is an incomplete story, but this is the basic. The symbolism is you are already free. You just don't know it. You're waiting on somebody to confirm you. There were free black people running around, and I mean free, not free because a white society says we're free. Free in your heart, free in your mind. That always existed before the Emancipation Proclamation, after it, during it. This mentality of freedom always existed. It's the reason Africans left the plantation to seek further freedom. It's the reason for Harriet Tubman, Nat Turner, Denmark Vesey, and all the others. It's the reason for them, because they were already free in their heart, free in their mind. Now, those that are waiting for someone to tell them they're free, that's what Juneteenth is bringing us up to look at. And this is what we're going to have to look at if we're really looking at the concept of slavery and the slave. Remember, slavery is hard work. The slave is divested of all freedom and rights. The slave can be put to slavery, but anybody can be considered enslaved under the definition of what slavery actually is in a dictionary. It's just hard work. Anybody engaged in hard work is basically enslaved, even if you're getting money. And then, of course, hard work is even a matter of opinion. If you really look at it philosophically, it's a matter of opinion. What is really hard work? Physical labor, is that really hard work? Not to the person who's trying to build up their strength. What is this? What is hard work? Mathematical equations so you can send a man or a woman to Mars? Hard work on the mind, on the brain, numbers and dates. Is that really hard work? Especially for the person who wants to send somebody to the moon or to Mars, is it really hard work? When I have to do 30 city tours, 4 shows a night, 1 night off, then another 4 shows and 1 night off, traveling in buses, state to state, tour to tour, doing it, is that really hard work to a person that loves what they do? So what is hard work? Anything that you don't want to do seems to be what hard work is. You don't want to do this, but somehow you got to do it. That's most of the people in this country, the United States. And we're learning about this right now due to COVID. People are reluctant to go back to work. Why? It feels like slavery, doesn't it? Feels like slavery. new types of jobs like Uber, Lyft, new types of cooking situations where chefs are out of the kitchen, so they start cooking at home and creating kitchens wherever they can. New ways of being more free and making more money in that freedom are emerging right now as we speak. People are sick of working. They don't want to work for nobody. Why? Why should I? People are wising up. They're waking up. You're not meant to work. Now, we all love a hard, good, what do they say? They say a job well done. You know what I'm saying? When you do, somebody invests you with a job, paying you for something, do a good job. Do a good job. Don't just do a half-ass job. You're just there for the money. If you got a job, be grateful for that. But a job is not work. A job is not work. Work has to do with your purpose. A job is how you, as G. Simone would say, justify our being. That's what a job is. It justifies our being. You get money, you got some dignity and some honor. I'm working. But really, a job is not work. It's a job. It's employment. It could be slavery. Work has more to do with your purpose. Work, you may not even get paid for, but you feel good about it. Work, you may get paid for, you still feel good about it. You love what you do. The person who's working could never be a slave, could never be said that they're even in slavery. I love what I do. And I'm bringing this message to you because we've been so desensitized by colonial culture to what service really is. We Africans are a service-based people. We know how to serve and make you feel good in that service. But that service was turned into slavery and enslavement. So now in our culture, we don't even want to serve. We want to be served. But we don't want to serve anything. We don't want to serve each other. We want to serve other people. And it's this service that is the value of yourself and of people, service. But this is what Juneteenth is really all about. Getting back to the character of the African with a free mind. Getting back to the character of the human with a free mind. Because keep in mind, it was white folk there, you already know, that was right with the African fighting against slavery. There was Native Americans, as you know, right there with the African fighting against slavery. The Spanish were right there fighting against slavery with the African, and the African with them. But all of the groups that I just mentioned, including the African, also participated in the enslavement of each of these other groups. Every person I mentioned, African, Native American, Latino, European, they all enslaved each other. And Spanish is European, but you know what I'm saying. They all enslaved each other. So really, when we come down to it, what is this really all about? Juneteenth. Are you really free or are you a slave? In your mind, in your being, are you free or are you a slave? Are you addicted to white colonial culture, or can you think something else up? Are you addicted to the lies they have in society? You can't think past that white Jesus, can you? Are you a slave to their society still? Scared to think outside of their norms? That's what Juneteenth is all about, questioning this aspect of oneself. For white folk, are you the abolitionist or are you the psychopath? It's simple in play. Are you the one who understands what good and evil is? Or do you not really know for the sake of the money you can make? Are you just doing your job? And your job is killing millions of people, thousands of people, making other people's lives hard. But you say, I'm just doing my job. It's the law. And these are your excuses for the suffering you're causing other people. Are you the abolitionist that knows no man can own another man, no woman should be owning another woman? Are you the abolitionist that will put his or her life down for the freedom of people? You see, these are people with souls. These are people with hearts, real minds. Not some heartless capitalist colonist that has no soul, no heart, no mind. All they see is what they can get. And that turns into the enslavement of babies, the raping of teenagers, the hanging of adults. So you can get what you can get. Well, who are you on Juneteenth? On June 19th? Who are you? What do you mean? What do you stand for? Real talk. So this is my short spew for this week. Get this in, because this talk right here has a lot to do with contemplation. There's not much to read. Like I said, you can go online, and you should go online, read the story of Juneteenth. I went down in Texas, and read the story. But this ain't about no story. This is about reflection. This is about your freedom. It's about your character. That's what this is about. And if you're not a free person, now's the time for you to start thinking about your freedom. Because slavery don't lead to nothing. Being enslaved don't lead to nothing. It only gonna lead to the enslaver. Don't lead to nothing else. So I leave you with this message here in Wilmington, Delaware. I'm not just aware, I am Delaware. Shout out to the whole Delaware, because we blew it out today. It was absolutely excellent what went down the other day. That was excellent. And so I leave you with that, with this message about Juneteenth. Yes, there's a lot of ring to do, and there's history involved. But are you a slave in your mind? Remember, the symbolism is we were already free or freed and didn't know it, or many did not know it. It took this effort to confirm that you were free. And I want you to look at that, because there were other Black folk that knew they were free before any kind of Juneteenth or any kind of emancipation proclamation. Before any of that, we knew we were free. Who are you? Are you waiting for white folk to tell you you free? Or do you know you free and act free? Free has responsibilities to it. You can say you free all day, then go act like a slave. No, freedom has responsibilities to it. Standing up for yourself, standing up for your community, making sure you stand on the right. Health, love, awareness, and wealth. These things are right. Wisdom, mercy, knowledge, understanding, forgiveness. These things are right. Do you stand with the right? Or do you stand with sickness, hatred, ignorance, and poverty? Do you stand with jealousy, envy, anger, resentment, unforgiving, ungrateful? Is that you? That's what Juneteenth is asking. Do you have the free mind of a free person, or are you enslaved to white colonial culture? We'll take our first break. Son One's going to close us out.
Okay, so let's go back. I had made several statements of things being wrong, me making wrong decisions. And the truth is that they weren't wrong. And the reason why I can say that now, in reflection, is because I'm safe. I'm here. I'm going to make it home. And I've also always looked at me giving rides to people as I am the right person to actually give them a ride. I'm the one who's going to actually get them there safe. And to me, with as many accidents that happen in Atlanta on a daily basis, I think I'm right when it comes to that. That no, everything really is divine, and you have to deal with yourself or look within yourself to make a decision. Either everything is divine or it's not, and it's just by chance. Moving on with many things that the teacher has said and laid out. I've been seeing people totally roast Juneteenth on their social medias, and very likely for good reason. The more TEACHA broke down his view of Juneteenth, I started to notice that it very much seems like a day off for slaves. And really, no matter what it is, we should reconstruct it and mold it into that which we want it to be. And especially for hip hop's culture, this could be hip hop culture day. If we should all agree. And that was just a thought. I'm not trying to co-opt Juneteenth. but the opportunity is here. Because this is a holiday that's for us. Again, this is something that they decided to give us, whether we wanted it or not. Instead of choosing the actual date that we so-called were emancipated, they chose to make the federal holiday the date that people found out that they got duped, bamboozled, hoodwinked. I don't know about that. Especially as opposed to the actual date. And this is how things get lost in history. That no, then 20 years down the line, 50 years down, 100 years down, 200, 300, 500,000. No, they look at this date as the date. And of course, you could say, well, no, this is the date everyone became free. Again, as teacher mentioned several times, nobody can give you your freedom. That must be clear. Nobody can also technically designate you as their slave. These are things we have to deal with. And as he spoke about the Bible, and he's always very nice, much nicer than I personally would be or care to be. But I think it's he made it very plain today that no, the Bible was given to you by the enemy for a reason. You can never really go beyond that, and unfortunately, I hope that's not too hard to understand if you're not of our complexions. But no, the Bible was used as a tactic of mental warfare, so to speak. And for the fact that this is what you are allowed, you have to use your intelligence and see that, my G, there's a reason why you're allowed to have that Bible, and why it's lasted for so long. If it really caused real revolution, no, the book would have been outlawed, burned, and all of the above. But it seemed to have served its purpose. It's been a wonderful day or two listening to TEACHA give multiple interviews. Hopefully they get out. At least our temple calls always get out for us. But something seems to happen with TEACHA's interviews. Some of them get there, but others where he's really dropping high science, and it's always a little different every time, and sometimes like very importantly different. That it's unfortunate that the majority of the world don't get the exposure to it for whatever reasons that may be. Of course, you know I'm exhausted, right? But loving life. You have to know it's real. And so it's like, I can't say it's just here, but I know when you're within this realm of the temple of hip hop, it's wild. Or the fact that the solstice is happening 21st, 22nd. And our ride up here, what do I see on the sign? Rising sun. Now, TEACHA has said several times within multiple of these gatherings that we are rising with the sun. And the actual sun. I'm not trying to, even though my name is Sun One, TEACHA's the sun, and definitely my son, like that. The shining light for me, but so within 2 days or 3 days of the actual event, we ride by the sign that says rising sun. No, these are things you can't ignore, and things you can't refute. Like, this is real and happening in real time. The handmade clothing of God? What? What's going on? What's going on? I'm great with it within myself. It's you who has to figure out what you do with it. What you do with it, again, is on you. But these are real things. So real. I heard him in an interview. He was talking about the spirit and how real the spirit actually is. And real, even like beyond real. Like, that's what's real. And this is more closer to an illusion than the actual existence of the spirit. And spirits, souls. He mentioned he was talking about how everybody doesn't necessarily have a soul. I know if you guys have been studying with us, you've heard him say this before. But the more he said that, which I definitely agree with. No, everybody doesn't necessarily have a soul. And then the key point is that so everybody doesn't have a soul, but those with souls, only a certain amount of them actually use them. And actually, I almost want to say live up to the soul, technically. And let's not skip over the fact that soul means sun in Spanish. But again, these are beautiful times. We're enjoying teaching. We're enjoying the fact that you guys show up on a consistent basis. We thank you. It's very much appreciated. And great to know that in this time that there are those out there who actually care. And that obviously we're not doing this for nothing. Because we're pretty sure in that which we study, we've seen the evidence. The evidence has been has been presented. The evidence has been presented. We've gone over it, and we've come to certain conclusions that you would think anybody with an intelligent mind would actually come to, or even or push intelligence aside, just a rational mind, logical mind, a real mind. It's like, no, we know the gospel works for us. Like I can't even tell you the manifestations are getting so ridiculous. They're getting ridiculous. It is so funny, especially in my experience, because I end up seeing so many little things manifest. And it's almost like, excuse me. Excuse me. It's almost like the major things, I would say that I try to manifest that don't necessarily come to fruition or haven't come to fruition yet is really more accurate. That the little things are almost immediate. And to me, that's great. Because immediate is like a salad. Like you see a salad, know you should get the salad, want the salad, don't get the salad, and then somebody gives you a salad. In the same day, or within an hour or two. like things like that. That's great. And especially for the fact that at that point, it's given to you. The freeway. So, of course, I mean, we're loving and marveling in our God hip hop and all that it provides. The love, the health, the love, awareness, and wealth. Like that's what it is. That's what it is. Fulfillment. And this is why we're so dedicated. It's like if you had the experiences, I'm sure you would be just as dedicated. And so if you're not having the experiences, I would say you gotta try to figure that out. Figure out why. Figure out what's wrong. And again, you got the knocks going on. I don't know if y'all heard that. That threw me off. If things aren't happening the way you want, you got to figure it out. What's going on? Y'all up in here. Y'all up in here. Listen, I'm going to get some rest. And I hope you all have a wonderful Father's Day. Again, or actually, right, TEACHA asked me to speak about this real quick. So the sun. At a point around the 21st through the 23rd of June, is going to reach its highest position in the northern hemisphere. After that, it starts descending to the point where it gets to its lowest point during the winter solstice. And at that point, when it gets to the winter solstice in the northern hemisphere, it will then be at its highest point within the southern hemisphere. So this is how it is. It's really a never-ending cycle. If you want to just get that energy, I guess, or travel, go south during that time, and come back north during this time, and you'll reap the benefits, or I believe that we're all getting and receiving energy from the sun, as well as everything else around us, but definitely the sun, or we're like solar panels. And so this is what it is, but this is a great time of manifestation and bringing things into existence. It's a great time to shine. It's a great time to rise and be who deep down you know you're supposed to be, and who you know you have the ability to be. I know a lot of the things that we say here at the Temple of Hip Hop are controversial. Hopefully, or I was speaking with Minister Zenaru, and we were both discussing, hopefully you're not ashamed of the Temple of Hip Hop, and hopefully you're not ashamed of yourself and the way that you feel amongst those around you, and that you actually can be your real and authentic self 24/7, essentially 48/14, 72/21. Quick maths. Peace to y'all. All right, I'm out of here. We'll see you next week. Peace and much love. Yeah, so we